So, Gary Al Smith here with the sport, quite extended for Prime. We normally don't do 10 minutes at a stretch. I'm here with Hans Mensah Andor. He has a special package for you today from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. He'll talk about it briefly. Hans, what do you have for us?
So we've got a special preview of the European season. The focus will be heavy, of course, on the Premier League, but we'll touch on the Spanish La Liga, also a bit of the Italian Serie and the German Bundesliga. And we've got two pundits mainly, one in England, the other one here in Ghana. Plus, you know, JoySports has gone global. We've got a few friends out there in the UK. 4 of them will be naming their top 6 come the end of the season and tell us how they arrived at those predictions. So that is what we've got for you. Plus, of course, the various predicted lineup, the starting 11s of the various teams that will be challenging for the titles. And we bring you the JoySports team's prediction of the top 6, plus the prediction from some of our audience as well.
So, what time is that? 10 p.m.?
10 p.m. and 1 hour. We usually do Fun Zone 30 minutes from 10:30 p.m. to 11 p.m., but we're doing 10 p.m. to 11 p.m.
It's all part of the package of our 2020-21 football season. So, yes, indeed, we are launching it today. We can consider it launched. And by the football season, we have live EPL radio commentary on Sundays on Joy FM. But it's not just that. Let me take you through the stuff that we have in terms of the competitions we have for you. We have FIFA International friendlies and competitions. It will be here at Joy FM. La Liga also will be bringing you live commentary on that on Joy FM. And then we have the Premier League on Sundays on Joy FM. We have the UEFA Nations League on Joy FM. We've also got the UEFA Champions League, which you know, on Joy FM. And then we have more competitions coming up. Okay, all right. So we have the Bundesliga, we have the Ghana Premier League, the FA Cup, and more. Just as a teaser of how global we intend to make this season for you, here's a BBC News two-way between George Addo Jr. and John Bennett of the BBC.
Right. So let's talk about the kind of transfer business Chelsea has done in this transfer window. Most Chelsea fans are excited about it. Where would you place them in that transfer window?
Yeah, very highly. I mean, we thought, didn't we, due to the coronavirus pandemic and the financial problems that there's come from that there wouldn't be much spending during this transfer market. But Chelsea have completely blown that out of the water, blown that theory out of the water. They've spent a lot of money on some very clever signings. Hakim Ziyech is a player I've admired for a long, long time. Having watched him for Ajax and watched him playing for Morocco as well. Kai Havertz, for me, has got the ability to be not just world-class, but, you know, your elite top 3 in the world. He has got everything to be an absolute superstar, and he's on his way there already. His performances at Bayer Leverkusen attest to that. Ben Chilwell, a left-back who can go forward, but also has got that defensive brain as well, can be a quality signing on and off the pitch. I think he's a real leader. Having said all that, I do feel that there are worries for Chelsea. They conceded the most goals of any teams in the top 10 last season in the Premier League. And have they really remedied that problem? I'm not sure they have. Yes, Thiago Silva's coming. Yes, Ben Chilwell have come in. But I'm not sure they will be enough to remedy that problem of conceding too many goals.
Yeah, John, there's been another criticism there for Lampard. And most have said that because you have so many players, it's often always difficult to put those players or get them into a certain rhythm in just one season. Do you think that these concerns are valid?
It's a lot of players to fit into a team, but I don't think it's too many that it will unsettle the dressing room. You've got to remember they're fighting on a number of fronts this season. The Champions League, I feel, will be important to them. I think Frank Lampard was given a bit of a pass last season, wasn't he, for the way that Chelsea performed in the Premier League. They were absolutely thrashed by Bayern Munich. What was it, 7-1 in the end on aggregate? Any other Chelsea manager would not have been forgiven for that. But it was kind of just seen as normal that Chelsea should lose, come in the depth of the squad they have, the quality players that they have. So I think that the good thing is about a number of these players is that they're adaptable. Kai Havertz can play in a number of positions. He can play up front. He can play as a number 10. He can play wide. He can play as a number 8. Hakim Ziyech can play on wings. He can play a bit. So I excuse this season that they have to deliver. I'm not saying win the Premier League. I still think Liverpool and Manchester City are slightly ahead of them. But certainly some good cup runs and a good run in the Champions League.
So then, let's talk about where you expect Chelsea to finish. We've been allowing a lot of the fans to predict. It's been interesting. My prediction put Chelsea at second, and I was surprised. I thought I had to be careful, but I was surprised when the fans came back and told me, George, why didn't you put Chelsea up there? Chelsea should be first. Chelsea should win the Premier League. What do you think will be modest expectations for Chelsea?
If they finish outside the top 3, I think it's a disappointment with the players they've brought in. And I do think that Frank Lampard will feel... They talked about a 3-year plan, didn't they? The first season was getting him into the Champions League. Second season was challenging for trophies. So that means going a long way in the Champions League, doing well, particularly in the FA Cup, League Cup, not so important. But the Premier League, they have to start closing that gap to Manchester City and Liverpool. But it is a big gap. Liverpool, we know they haven't spent big. They've only brought in one player, Kostas Tsimikas, but they are still a quality team with a quality manager. It's very difficult to win back-to-back Premier League titles. We know that. It's rare, but don't write Liverpool off. Manchester City, yes, they've lost David Silva, but they brought in Ferran Torres, they brought in Nathan Ake. They will still be up there. So I do think there's still a slight gap that Frank Lampard has to bridge between where Chelsea are and that top 2. But he certainly has to be challenging to break up that top 2 of Manchester City and Liverpool. The pressure is on Frank Lampard this season. He has to deliver.
Yeah, hopefully Lampard gets to deliver and the Chelsea fans will be excited here. But let's talk about the Kepa Arrizabalaga situation. We know that Chelsea are close to signing Edward Mendy. What would you do if you were in Lampard's shoes, having Edward Mendy and Kepa Arrizabalaga straight away play Mendy, or you manage this carefully?
It's a difficult one. It's a tough one out from scratch where he was, and his career has kind of been reignited. He had a fantastic season last season for Rennes. They got in the Champions League. I admire his story. I think he's an excellent goalkeeper, but I feel you have to start with Kepa to see what develops at the start of the season. Massive question marks about Kepa, both in terms of his shot stopping, his command of the box. He's good with his feet, but he needs to do more. And Edouard Mendy, I'm sure, will put him under pressure, but I think you should start the season with Kepa.
Right. John, let's end with what your starting lineup will be, given all the injuries. We're putting you in the shoes of that Chelsea manager. What would you expect to see against Brighton on Monday?
On Monday, it's difficult because they've got a few injuries, haven't they? No Ben Chilwell, who's out injured, no Hakim Ziyech, no Thiago Silva. Going forward, if you were to pick out of all the squad now, they got to the Champions League final, say, I'm going to be kind to you and say that Chelsea are in the Champions League final. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's be kind to you. Who would you start of all those players? I think you'd have Timo Werner as your striker. He can play wide, but I think you'd have him as your striker. I think you'd have Pulisic on the left. Where would you play Hakim Ziyech? I guess you'd have to have him on the right, wouldn't you? And then Kai Havertz just behind. But that is so attacking, isn't it? That is so attacking. Is N'Golo Kante going to get into this team? He would certainly get into my Chelsea team in that midfield. Do you play Mason Mount? Can you play Mason Mount and Kai Havertz? There are so many decisions for Frank Lampard to make. I also think the decision at the back is interesting as well. Thiago Silva, who does he play alongside? I would say Antonio Rudiger. Then at left back, you'd have Ben Chilwell. At right back, of course, Azpilicueta. And I think at the start of the season, Kepa will start. But as the season goes on, I think Mendy will win his place in the team. So if towards the end of the season, if Chelsea got to a big final, I think Mendy would probably start. But
so he's talking about Chelsea. We have Fulham versus Arsenal in the commentary game as well. And we also have that on Joy FM. Now, quick reminder of what we have. We have the Emirates FA Cup here in terms of commentary on Joy FM. And then we have Copa del Rey as well, in addition to all the other things that I mentioned. Coppa Italia is also here. CAF competitions, Black Stars, anywhere they go, we will be there. And Bundesliga as well on Joy FM. Football is here. I'm Gary Al Smith, ending Joy News Prime today. Thank you very much to the team and also to Aisha for bringing us all the news that's trending from around the world and here in Ghana. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.